Hello and welcome to the very first episode of CineBeards, a movie talk podcast hosted by me, Jason Musicanth, Marcus Knafe,
Hi!
and Deon van Heerden.
Yes!
For our very first episode, our subject is going to be a box office roundup for what's known as the US summer box office season. Obviously, winter here for us.
box office season roundup, but it's winter in South Africa.
That sounds about right.
Okay, now Marcus has done some painstaking work in putting together quite a lovely list for us, separating the US, the worldwide, and our own South African box office.
Because there's actually data for our box office. Which
Surprisingly, where did you track that down?
Boxofficemojo.com. They actually track a hell of a lot of data, and it's very interesting to just... Anyway, you can go pretty far back and see some terrible, terrible things about our own box office.
Lovely.
Well, some of them, after looking at the list, you can see this year. So let's
Oh,
get...
no,
let's-
you think that's bad. No, so I'm just going to interject here, right? Like the oldest box office results available for South Africa on Box Office Mojo are from 2008.
Right.
Yeah?
In 2008, 2009, and 2010, the top grossing movie in South Africa
Was it Leon Schuster
was a
film?
Leon Schuster
Oh
film.
no, I guessed right! Oh,
Because he
the
happened to
shame.
release the...
Oh, the shame.
We should all be ashamed.
We are ashamed.
Like I had... Yeah, it is shameful, but he makes money.
Anyway, let's get stuck into this list you put together here. First thing I've noticed when we were looking at this is something we noticed while looking at a list of top 10s comparing 97 to 2016 a couple recordings ago in one of the unaired podcasts.
Yes, we've actually been doing this for weeks.
And that's...
Months, actually, but, Jason refuses to release those.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to cut this too, because it makes me look bad.
Oh, damn it.
What I noticed that for the first time in quite a few years, we have an original comedy in the top 10 for the US, the top 10 here, and I think it sits at 16 worldwide.
That would be correct. Also, I think I should just jump in here because people are often confused about what constitutes the summer box office season.
Now,
Yeah.
please do educate.
So the US summer box office season runs from the first weekend of May through to the 1st of September, or Labor Day weekend in the States.
Alright.
So that's May, June, July, and August. 4 months.
4 months.
4 months.
4 months long.
Alright.
That's the summer season.
Because there are 4 seasons in the year, and there are 16 months in the year, so that
Yes.
makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Mathematically.
Mathematically, yeah.
Perfect.
And theory, and it's been shifting back and back. I mean, some people are wanting to count April as summer movies now too.
Alright, yeah, makes perfect sense.
Perfect
the sun
sense.
does shine occasionally.
Well, with global
it's
warming...
summer somewhere. Hey, yeah. Good job, global warming.
Good job. We're
Good
bringing...
job.
See, look at us. We're bringing attention to global issues like global warming.
We're so responsible.
Anyway, so that's summer, guys. What
Right,
were
no,
we
so
talking about?
The
Original comedy.
Okay,
Girls
wait,
Trip.
actually, let's just, if you'd be so kind, Marcus, to read us off the top 10 for US, worldwide, and South Africa.
Well, that's 30 movies, and I've repeated a lot of them 3 times. Are you sure you don't want to just focus
Okay.
on one of them first?
Well, let's first talk about the US box
Yeah,
office.
let's first talk about
Okay.
the US box office.
Yeah, the US box office, because that's the most important one, guys.
Not
According
anymore. Hello, China.
Hey, China!
So, the top... I think I gave in the top 20, but I'm just going to stick with the top 10 because,
Yeah, stick with the top 10. It makes
So the
life
top
easier.
10 movies in the US this summer season were in descending order. So in first position, we had Wonder Woman,
Yes, that's good.
followed by Guardians of the Galaxy,
Good stuff.
Spider-Man Homecoming,
Good stuff.
Despicable Me 3,
Okay.
Dunkirk,
Good stuff.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales,
Nope, didn't hear anything. That just sounded like static to me.
Cars 3,
Alright.
War for the Planet of the Apes,
Good.
Transformers The Last Night,
Oh,
and closing out the top 10 we had Girls Trip.
Girls they do. Girls are notoriously clumsy. You didn't put an apostrophe there. You brought this on yourselves.
I copy pasted from the website.
It's just about a bunch of women with an inner ear infection.
Wait, you think it's a spin-off? It's a
just
spin-off
yakety
from
sax
HBO's Girls. It's just those girls
It's just
from
those
Girls
falling.
tripping.
It's just the Benny Hill theme all the time.
All right,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
outstanding.
So no real surprises there. I mean,
Nope.
comic book movies are still the biggest thing in Hollywood at the moment.
Top
Are
3
they?
there. Yeah, top 3.
Top 3? And how does that make them sort of the biggest thing?
Thank you, Professor Sarcasmo.
You're welcome.
What I will say is it was very surprising to see Wonder Woman top the US box office.
Yeah, I must say,
And by a pretty decent margin.
I was really impressed by the fact that it beat out Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which I thought was a shoo-in for number 1.
Yes.
Like I thought
In
I
the
thought that
US,
was,
we're specifically talking
specifically the US box office. I thought that was just a shoo-in for number 1.
Yeah. Especially considering, it was such a hyped sequel to a film that was critically loved and gained a huge following, not only from theatrical word of mouth, but also from home release.
Yeah, no, I mean it did great. But I'm really happy that Wonder Woman beat it out.
Yeah.
Like
And
Wonder Woman was my
like I said,
was
by
my
a
wonderful
decent-
surprise for the summer.
By a
the
decent
US
margin,
summer.
it made a good 20 million more in the US box office.
Jeez. Not bad.
Yeah, I mean that's not massive, but it's a significant.
It's a significant
Well,
difference.
for a single market, yeah.
Yeah, for a single market, it's a significant difference.
If it was in Spain, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
let's take
so-
a little bit.
yeah,
Let's take a little. Let's compare that a little bit to the worldwide, and it looks pretty similar.
Pretty similar.
It's pretty much the same 10 movies, or at least
Oh,
9 of the 10
no.
movies. 9 of the 10 movies are the same, but they're just in a different order.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone out there fucked up some territory and went to watch The Mummy a whole bunch.
Look, I sincerely doubt our few $100,000 helped push
Few $100,000. That's being very generous.
few few
Marcus,
thousand.
we all have to take responsibility.
We contributed hundreds and hundreds of dollars as a country.
As a
think-
country, we put forward at least $200.
At least.
So yeah, but the
All right.
one thing that has been bothering me though with this whole this box office reporting that I've been seeing online is Warner Brothers claiming that they finally did it. They won the summer, but they didn't.
No, they didn't.
They won the US.
They won the US summer, which is
Universal one.
So quickly, Marcus, just rattle off the international top 10 for us, so our listeners know what the.
so the international top 10, and I pray this list will also go on the website because apparently we have a website.
I'll put it underneath the podcast.
You'll put it somewhere.
Yeah.
It will
the
be
descri-
online.
Links are in the description.
Yeah. So for the worldwide top 10, in first position is I don't even want to say it.
Just get it over with. We know what it is.
Despicable Me 3, which made, just for the record, $994 million worldwide.
All right.
Then in second position, Guardians of the Galaxy, followed by Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Then Pirates of the Caribbean. Then Spider-Man.
That's
Yeah. Followed by Transformers The Last Night, Dunkirk. In eighth position, The Mummy, War for the Planet of the Apes, and Cars 3.
I almost don't want to ask, but how much more did Transformers make than Dunkirk?
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
Like, I can tell you, like, it's here, but I don't know if you can take that.
If I had a
Dunkirk
penny for every
released a
time I
little.
proved that wrong.
Dunkirk released a little later.
Quite a bit later, and I think Dunkirk is still in cinemas.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
but
very sad.
what's the difference then, Marcus?
I'm very sad.
Worldwide, Dunkirk has made $460 million.
Yeah.
And Transformers The Last Night has made $604 million.
That's interesting. That's less than I expected.
Well, it is the lowest grossing Transformers movie so far.
And yet it is the grossest.
Actually, I think, like, legitimately, from, like, just as a movie, it's probably the best Transformers has been since the first one.
No.
No, because they've completely lent into how ridiculous and absurd it is.
I think, honestly, there isn't a single metric by which it is not the worst one. I can't think of a single... Even the
It's
fact
not
that...
the longest one.
Yeah.
Hey! Even the fact that Shia LaBeouf isn't in it can't rescue it from being the worst one. Just on a pure technical level, just on every level. I felt so exhausted walking out of that movie.
Well, it doesn't have as much racism as the other ones.
Oh, in fairness, yeah, I did watch Bad Boys 2 again very near to it, so I think I was just kind of... it's just a whole bunch of Michael Bay racism.
Oh, hey, Bad Boys 3 is also apparently still on track somehow.
I saw that. That's for next time's news.
Yeah.
No.
Alright, so The Mummy's at number 8. That's very sad.
Honestly, like, I was expecting The Mummy to maybe be higher.
The thing is, I thought because of the extremely negative response from audiences and especially from critics, I thought it would bomb a lot harder. And I think they were smart, not from an artistic standpoint, but they were smart financially casting Tom Cruise. Because even though the whole bankable actor thing is not what it used to be, it's still a lot more of a hook.
Internationally.
Well, there was that one amazing trailer where they forgot to put any sound in except for Tom Cruise screaming, and it is a thing of beauty.
I have not seen this.
Why haven't we not? You better link that to me. I want to see it.
I'll throw it up on the CineBeards thing.
Oh, please do, because I really want to experience that specific trailer now, and then I want to not watch The Mummy ever.
Yeah, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
I mean, it's interesting though, but yeah, you're right. Like the whole name actor thing, it doesn't make as much. It's not as much. Doesn't have as much clout as it used to.
Yeah,
but he's still Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
people still go watch Tom Cruise.
Yeah, it's a safe bet. You know what?
Tom Cruise, I think they were overreaching a little bit, trying to start their whole. I think they call it the Dark Universe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really overestimating, I guess, how excited people would be for the Mummy to team up with Frankenstein and Count Dracula.
The thing is that worked before. I mean, that in the 50s and the 60s.
Monster.
That worked really,
the Universal
really well.
Monsters.
Yeah. And honestly, if the film was less, hey, here's Tom Cruise, and more, hey,
doing all the Tom Cruise stunts you know and love.
Hey, here is the Mummy, and it's actually like just this really cool, badass, like, classic monster archetype thing, you know?
Yeah.
Then, great, you show some archaeologists going into a pyramid, like, bringing out the Mummy, and then it's just like, oh, it's been resurrected by its cult, and
hey,
it's
you know what
wreaking
you
havoc.
just described? The late 90s Mummy with Brendan Fraser.
Which was cool. Like,
that was a fun run.
That was a really fun movie. And
well,
honestly,
the first two were.
I didn't see any beyond the first one. I have seen.
Didn't the third one go to China?
Yeah, the third one went to China, and also they recast the leading lady.
And we didn't notice.
No, we did. I think that's what caused a lot of disconnect.
Oh,
as a child, I didn't notice, and I didn't really.
So it wasn't what's her face and Maggie Gyllenhaal situation. I'm referring to Batman and Batman Begins in the Dark Knight. Katie Holmes, yes.
Oh yeah. Honestly, like, that would be cool and that would be fun, but they're trying so hard to make it like
serious.
Yeah, serious and gritty and all these things.
They
which is exactly those things are schlocky. Yeah. And I think that's one of the ways in which Kong Skull Island succeeded so hard, is that lent into, like, this is inherently absurd.
Yeah.
but we're gonna make it badass and fun, and we're gonna the audience and the film crew are winking at each other the whole time and nudging each other like hey, and everyone's having a great time.
What it was about. I mean, they put John C. Reilly in it.
Yeah, it
for your health,
and it worked out incredibly well. And yeah, this just felt like I'm not excited about The Mummy because The Mummy isn't the focus.
It's a world building.
It's Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe as
Russell Crowe's
Dr. Jekyll, but not Mr. Hyde yet.
Not yet. But I think he makes his way towards it during the course.
I don't care.
It's just not exciting. And if they had like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde film, they had a good The Mummy film, they had a good Frankenstein film, and then they started bringing all of these together, that would be exciting, and that would be cool, like those classic horror films. But you have to lean into it. You have to lean into the fact that this is schlock.
Yeah.
But there is a market for it.
You've got to be campy about it.
Yeah, and
you have to. I mean, sorry, I'm just going to interject here. Did you guys ever actually go and watch Young Frankenstein?
No.
With James McAvoy, the one that was... It came out early last year. And
McAvoy and Radcliffe.
McAvoy and Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel Radcliffe played Igor, and the thing was written by Max Landis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Max Landis is a divisive character online.
Even divisive.
But he gets schlock. And the way he wrote that story lent so hard into the schlocky absurdity of it that it came off as actually entertaining. That you could see the studio, the director were trying to make it all serious, but the way it's written was just always so on the nose, this is B-movie bullshit.
If you do it right, the thing is, one of the many reasons the Marvel Cinematic Universe works so well is that it makes earlier films mandatory in many ways. Like, if I totally missed The Mummy, right?
Yeah.
And Frankenstein comes out, and it's really awesome, and I watch it, and it's great, and I'm having a great time. And then I realize, oh, wait, hold on, this character, it was actually introduced in that film. I'm going to go back and watch it.
Yeah, but
and then I'm definitely going to watch the next one.
But if you look at Phase 1 of Marvel, a lot of the world building is done with the post-credit stingers. Like Iron Man, Hulk, First Avenger... those, if you watch them without seeing the others and without watching the post-credit stingers, they're not connected yet.
No, not at all.
No, but what I'm saying is if they want to do this where they've got, say, Mr. Hyde appearing in the various ones, first do a really good Mr. Hyde film.
Yeah.
And you can have, if you had, say, a Mummy film earlier, and you've got a character in there, a really good character that crosses over, that works really, really well.
Yeah.
Because you're building the universe, and you're like, oh, this character is from that thing. I want to go watch that thing. If you want to take a shortcut, do that.
Yeah.
But don't start and make your monster franchise film revolve around Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Make it revolve around
the
monster. Yeah, make it revolve around the mummy.
And the thing is, especially when you got the actress they had playing the Mummy. I mean, she was the best part of Star Trek Beyond.
Jailer, yeah?
Yeah. So you've got a talented person and quite a charismatic person to be this villain. Why push Tom Cruise?
Because and I'll tell you why, and this is me just pointing out cynical Hollywood. This isn't my own thoughts. Because Tom Cruise sells more movie tickets than some woman.
Yeah. The thing is, also, honestly, the best way they could have gone is do the Deadpool route. Slash that budget.
Yeah.
Slash it to the bone. Don't bring in a bunch of extra big-name people. Don't bring in a whole side cast of, big-name, established actors.
Yeah.
Start your own thing. Start on a small budget. Make the film awesome.
Yeah.
Keep making them. Introduce Frankenstein. Make a badass Frankenstein. Introduce the creature from the Black Lagoon. Bring all of those out. Make a whole series of kick-ass ones, and then start crossing
Give me
over.
a Dracula
Play the long game instead of spending money on Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe now.
Anyway, so yeah, The Mummy did way better than it was supposed to.
Yeah.
I think we should just
And
leave it there for
unfortunately,
now.
that sends totally the wrong signals to the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing
On
is,
the one hand, I want monster
wait.
movies, but I don't want bad monster movies making a bunch of money.
I want. You know what I want? I want like a Hammer Film style Dracula movie again.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'm very happy about is that internationally, Baby Driver is sitting at 13.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That means
Just
people,
outside
I mean, that was
for the
released-
first time ever, people went out and watched an Edgar Wright movie.
In the cinema, again, excellent marketing. Obviously, really, really good word of mouth.
Yeah.
The fact that they could have a second trailer cut so quickly, where A, it was really, really classy, and B, it could have the huge splash that said 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which
Yeah.
by that time wasn't true anymore.
No.
But still,
Yeah.
like, it was true as of that moment, and that's smart, fast,
Yeah.
nimble marketing.
It really is, because nowadays people are turning to Rotten Tomatoes more and more.
Which is fine. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it's-
completely understandable. People just need to understand how it actually works.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very happy about that. The Despicable Me 3, right? Okay, now we're obviously coming to South Africa, and I see that Despicable Me 3 topped South Africa and worldwide,
Yes.
right? Means we're trendsetters. Now, what it actually means is it's a children's film, right?
Yeah.
It's the biggest children's film.
Minions are incredibly popular.
Minions are absurdly popular.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if you like them or don't. Kids love them, and that's all. That's the only thing that matters. And honestly, like, it actually makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
Because the people are hesitant. Films are getting more expensive. People are hesitant in a difficult economy to splash out on going to the cinema. It's harder and harder to convince people to do it.
Especially here, like in South Africa, like it's expensive to go to the movies
It is.
now.
So, but who are you going to take to the cinema? Your kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good excuse. Like, the kids want to go to the cinema. They want to go see the Minions. You take the children. It feels more like, psychologically, it feels like a more acceptable expense if you're doing it sort of for your
the
children.
kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the kids. You're doing it for your children. Take them to the film. And it just makes absolute sense that something like that would internationally beat out Guardians of the Galaxy. Not necessarily in the US. Because remember, this is opening in like territories like South Africa, Brazil, places where economically things aren't that great. And
Yeah.
our markets are always going
Australia.
to be, it's always going to be more geared towards children.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is why, also, if you look at our top 10, in fact, I should probably just run down the South African top 10 for
Yeah,
this
it's about
season.
time we got around to our top 10.
So, in ours, in first position was Despicable Me 3,
Yeah.
then Spider-Man Homecoming, then Transformers
A great embarrassment to us all.
Yeah.
in third position, which beat out the fourth position, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
And then number 6 was Wonder Woman.
And then number 6 was Wonder Woman. Number 7 was Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. In 8th was Cars, and then The Mummy. And in 10th position, Girls Trip. I think
Yeah.
that's
the whole top 10.
That was 10 movies
I
that
don't
I
think we
mentioned.
skipped any.
We didn't skip any numbers.
No. In fact, we'll go back and make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go through that a second time just to make sure.
Despicable Me 3 at number 1, number 2 Spider-Man Homecoming,
Homecoming.
number 3 is Transformers,
Transformers,
number 4 is Guardians,
Guardians,
number 6
6
is
is
Wonder
Wonder
Woman,
Woman,
number 7 is Pirates,
Pirates,
8 is Cars,
Cars,
9 is The Mummy,
Mummy.
10 is Girls Trip. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, that's 10 movies.
That's
Yeah.
all of it.
That's all of them.
Thank God no one went to watch Baywatch.
Right?
That would have been embarrassing if
That
that,
would
was
have
in
been
our top 10.
so embarrassing.
Well, to be fair, it's embarrassing enough that we've got Transformers at number 3.
But again, it's that
It's the
exact
kids
same
thing.
thing.
It's the
it's
kids like giant robots.
But
It's-
it's not
it's-
just a kids thing, it's the
kids and teenagers.
kids, teenagers, and the car culture here.
Yeah, that's another thing is like there is a whole lot of like cross promotion and
Yeah.
like the association, like it's all about like the cars.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that makes sense.
I mean, all of these make sense. I mean, you Despicable Me 3 and you could argue Spider-Man, because Spider-Man
Oh,
always
kids love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man always has a cartoon
And-
somewhere on TV.
And parents are going to recognize that they're going to
Spider-Man.
know it's something they
Yeah.
can take their kids to.
Exactly.
And then they're going to have the shit scared out of
Yeah,
them by the
yeah,
whole
that's
I
what
show.
said, I don't think the
Yeah,
parents
when-
are bargaining on
And
that
then when
first.
Michael
dude.
Keaton like
When he
shows up,
first grabs Spider-Man.
that is terrifying.
Yeah,
He
and
looks up and the shaky screams.
and drops him off at the prom with his daughter. It's like,
Yeah, pulls
okay.
a gun on him. Jeez, I mean, yeah, but still, yeah, it makes
yeah,
sense.
but by that time the cinema already has your money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense.
and then with Transformers, yeah, I actually expected Guardians to do better than Transformers in our market because
I did not.
no, I did because
Nah.
no, I'll tell you why because like I have faith in people.
You're an idiot.
Yeah. Like, what has ever happened in life that has given you that faith in people?
Interesting, just very interesting for me, as far as I can tell. We're the market, like as opposed to the US or worldwide, that has King Arthur in the top 20.
Yes.
More interesting than that to me is that we've got Valerian there in the
Yeah.
top 20. We're one of the few, I guess, like, people in the world who actually went to go and see Valerian.
Yeah. Oh, but all two of those people in South Africa that went to go watch it are on this podcast right now.
Yeah, we did kind of contribute to the Transformers thing, though.
The Hitman.
You guys did. I went to go. I went on a press screening. I did not pay a cent.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Hey,
But we did it for a
There's two
funny
movies that
review
rip each
might
other
come
off.
out.
Girls Trip and Rough Night are both on our top 20.
So are we just going to completely ignore? We're just going to ignore it, aren't we?
Yeah,
You know what? I don't know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
I think he's talking about the fact that Atomic Blonde isn't in our top 20.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
No, you would think you
You'd
know
think with it being
Charlize Theron.
Charlize. Yeah.
Can I ask you quickly, what is Everything?
I have no idea.
Always.
I've never heard of it, and it's number 20 in our market.
I believe it
Is
might
it
be a
local?
locally produced. Jason, jump on Google.
Drama form / romance. Oh wow, it looks 44%.
Where was it made?
I'm quickly looking. Well, the initial release was 19 May in the USA.
Okay,
So it's not locally produced.
I don't think so. No, it doesn't look
Throw
like
us a little
it.
synopsis there.
Okay, I will. Maddie is a smart, curious, and imaginative 18-year-old who is unable to leave the protection of the hermetically sealed environment within her house because of an illness. Ollie is the boy next door who won't let that stop them from being together, gazing through windows and talking only through texts. Maddie and Ollie
stop
form
right there. Stop right there. Did they just gender swap Bubble Boy? And
They gender swapped it and made it a little more rapey.
Maddie and Ollie form a deep bond that leads them to risk everything to be together, even if it means losing everything.
I like how
Everything.
he's not risking anything.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's interesting. I've never heard of that.
Nope.
And that was number
20 on
here.
ours, yeah.
We do have.
I'm gonna try find that fella in the other list because I think it's only in ours.
Yeah.
I only track the top 20 per territory, really.
Yeah, we're also the only one
Oh,
with Rough
it is
Night.
apparently 27 in the States. Everything.
Yeah, Rough Night is number 18 here.
Number 31 in the
Rough
States.
Night was surprisingly fun, gotta say.
I
haven't
actually
seen
missed
it yet. I've got it on
I saw the
like,
movie Bob
DVDs
review
out, so
and the wife and I were looking for something to do.
Yeah,
Saw the movie Bob review, just immediately climbed in the car and went and watched it and
I'll
just had a really good time.
yeah.
No,
I'll
it's not,
stream it or rent the Blu-ray.
yeah, it's
'cause,
nothing.
like,
It's nothing incredible, but it's really
it's a
fun.
fine comedy.
And
I
the
trust you and I trust Movie Bob.
yeah, and the sort of the one side character, the fiance,
Yeah.
this guy, he just steals the show. He's fantastic, and Kate McKinnon is hilarious and just has the most ridiculous Australian accent. You have just
Does she just ham it up?
just more than you could possibly imagine. It is ridiculous. And it's probably the best use of penis glasses I've seen in cinema in the last decade.
That is a glowing review.
Best use of penis glasses.
Yeah.
Is that a category?
Yes.
Yeah, no. That was actually what I majored in film study.
Use of Peter's glasses.
Yeah.
A little point of pride that we can take solace in is that maybe because it didn't release here as early everywhere else, but Emoji Movie's not on our list.
Yes, because it, as of...
Shh. Don't give them any reasons. It's not on our list, but it's on the others. We're better than them.
It's not on the others.
It is.
Oh, 13.
Yeah.
You know what makes me happy?
It's because it hadn't opened in our country by the time this season had closed.
Shut up, Marcus. No one cares.
Stop making excuses.
We're better than everyone.
We're better than them.
What actually really does make me happy is how high Annabelle Origins... Oh, sorry, Annabelle... All right. Try that again. What really does make me happy is how high Annabelle Creation tracked everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I love horror movies, even if it's not the great. Apparently, it's a lot better than the first one. I haven't seen the sequel yet.
It's
but
not high on ours because it hasn't opened here yet.
It has opened here. It's been here for 2 weeks, so it wouldn't be on this list necessarily.
No. Unless it had, like, a phenomenal opening.
Yeah. But it did open very late. We get a lot of films very late.
Yeah.
But that it really did well worldwide. It did really well at the US box office.
Yeah.
And that makes me happy, especially now with it having just what seems to be an absolutely staggering opening weekend.
Yeah.
I'm a big horror guy, and I would like to see studios do more, take more risks. Annabelle Creation is not exactly a risk. It's very much, part of the Conjuring universe.
Yeah.
Part of that whole thing. But like, I want to see more quality horror, and I want to see more decent to excellent horror films doing well at the box office, because I want more of that.
Yeah.
I love my
agree.
superhero my superhero films. Don't get me wrong, but I absolutely want more horror, and I want more classy horror.
Yeah.
Like,
If only there was a part of, like, a subsect of Marvel Studios on the movie side, right?
Yeah.
That were sort of autonomous from the whole Marvel Studios Disney machine, so that we could possibly get some, like, Marvel horror movies.
yeah, I mean,
'Cause
just
that would
Marvel
be-
Zombies would just be a fun one-off.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a fun one, just Marvel Zombies. But, I mean, imagine a reboot of Blade, because Marvel did
Yeah.
get the rights back, where it's just straight up, like, vampire, like, horror movie.
That would be wonderful. I would absolutely love the hell out of that.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
do a Ghost Rider from the perspective of a criminal, where there's this literal spirit of vengeance
that would be
haunting
amazing.
a prison or something.
I think Ghost Rider is a little difficult to do seriously like that, because it's a dude with a flaming skull who rides.
It doesn't have to
flaming
be. It doesn't
motorbike.
have to be serious, but it has to be horror.
Yeah, it can be horror.
Like,
but the
I
thing
want
is, it's
more
inherently
horror, and it
it's
doesn't. It doesn't
inherently
have
silly.
to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be.
Now, all comic book things are inherently.
Yeah, it doesn't
silly,
have
you
to
know
be
this.
comic book. It
Yeah.
it can be Conjuring style films.
Yeah.
The James Wan kind of, like, he's got his formula down and his
Yeah.
style. It can be in that. I'm not really excited for, like, Jigsaw. I don't want gore porn.
No.
That's absolutely not my thing. But I'm really glad that horror is still sort of alive and kicking, doing really well.
It's having a bit of a resurgence.
Because especially, I mean, look at that internationally. Where did it track?
Like 11th.
11th and 12th at the US box office. I mean,
Yeah.
those are big numbers.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's great.
It tracked above Alien Covenant
Yeah. Which,
and the Emoji Movie.
yeah. It tracked,
Hooray for humanity!
no, I mean, it tracked higher than Alien Covenant, which theoretically, just looking at the franchises, Alien Covenant should have tracked higher.
Yeah.
Because it's a longer standing franchise, and it was touted as this return to the horror roots.
And
that
I can
people
tell you one
want.
thing: Annabelle Creation earned more and definitely cost less.
Yes.
And I think we need more of that. If Deadpool taught us anything, if a lot of these, I mean, even something like Paranormal Activity, even though it did eventually lead to Paranormal Activity, the Dream something,
The Ghost
Oh, that
Dimension.
one.
Ghost
said-
Dimension, that was just that's just a 2-hour black hole in my life. I remember nothing except being appalled. And even though that's what led to that, I mean, that's a film that cost next to nothing.
The original cost $13,000.
And
to
it
make.
made millions and millions and millions, and it was actually great. It was a really good, fun time.
Yeah.
So a lot like comic book films, horror films are very much what cinemas are great for.
Yeah.
This whole communal feeling of like, and
Oh,
comedies as well, getting into it. Everyone's like screaming and just having a really great time. It's a good cinema experience,
Yeah.
and it costs so much less. So just throw a little more money at the writing side of things,
Yeah.
and I don't see how they're losing. Yeah.
I also don't say that community kind of thing that you were saying reminds me of when we went to go and see It.
Yeah.
There was trouble with the projectors in the cinemas. Let's call them staff.
Yeah, let's call them that. Where the film, the trailers all played fine, of course, and then there was a sign that said, "This film has not been optimized for the IMAX and is therefore not constitute the full IMAX experience." And everyone kind of booed a little bit, and then that whole IMAX
That countdown
going
thing
through
that
the
it does.
numbers countdown thing started, and the sound continued, but the picture would just sort of flash off for a few seconds and then on.
Yeah.
And then off, and then on. And then the film started, and it just kept doing it. And I sort of looked around, and we were near front and middle. No one was getting up, so I got up, went out, informed them of the problem. Took about 5 minutes for them to actually stop the film.
Yeah.
So it was just continuing like that. They couldn't find their main projectionist was out of the province. So they
in the projection room there was this one really
Very
incredibly bright light that was on,
and it was just
and it was at the perfect angle to basically be a spotlight on Deon and I.
and
Exactly
literally like
where we were sitting.
I lifted
When
my
you lift your
popcorn,
popcorn,
it was just brightly lit,
illuminated.
and it was basically me and Jason and the guy next to me
Yeah.
were the only people in this sort of cone of light. The house lights came on at random intervals. The film started about an hour late because of the technical issues. It was just a disaster. But that communal feeling, everyone
we
starts trading
bonded with
jokes.
the people around us through this traumatic experience. And as we were watching the movie, all of us together, we were being terrified together. We were having laughs with everyone around us. It was just a good community experience.
And it's that good feeling of you'd expect a horror film to be sort of a place for machismo, for guys to be like, oh, I'm not scared. But every guy in that cinema, no matter how badass he is in his day-to-day life, was hiding under his jacket, going, no. So it was really good fun, and horror films are great for that. They're like comedies, and
horror
they're
films
like
are the best for that, arguably.
Yeah, for sure. And I just think that it's such a low risk. I mean, you can make a good horror film, like a really good one, for under 10 million, easy. You can make it for 5. They do it all the time.
Yeah.
And the returns are usually 30 plus.
Yeah.
So where's the problem? Why aren't we seeing more?
Well, I mean,
of
that's
these?
how.
That's Blumhouse.
That's Blumhouse's
Blumhouse,
whole
like-
MO. That's how they operate. It's like, oh, here's 10 million for your movie, and then comes back and makes 50, 60, 100 million.
Yeah, but that's one studio.
Yeah, that's one studio that's really nailed how to market horror movies.
Yeah, but what Deon's trying to say is why aren't other studios getting on this bandwagon? Why have they not seen this?
Because they don't want to make a lot of money. They want to make all of the money.
No, I can understand. But I mean,
yeah.
like, what I don't understand is why people, like, say, all the major studios don't, as Jason, or was it you that said?
One of us said.
One of you have, like, a subsidiary that's independent? Was you that said, Marcus? Yeah.
Marcus said so.
Have an independent subsidiary that just does that.
Yeah.
Just follows that model. And just reliably earns back 8 times the film's budget.
Yeah.
10 times the film's budget.
Because even if you got that, you can get bigger investors on board, and then you can make your all the money movies.
Yeah, and you really don't. That's a sustainable business model.
Yeah, exactly. The smaller movies cover the overheads for your bigger blockbusters.
Yeah, I mean, even if they never overlap, I mean, that's literally dozens or hundreds or thousands of jobs that you're, and that's a constant stream of money that you've got coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I really hope to see, especially now with it really, really crushing it at the box office and just breaking records and doing so well. I really hope a year or two from now to come back look at the summer box office and see maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 horror films in there in the top 20.
Speaking of which, just on it, I read this morning. The director of this one just locked down the deal to direct
Oh, there is
the
a god.
sequel.
Yes.
So he's in for
And
the sequel.
they are apparently having flashbacks to the current cast of child actors.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
they wouldn't throw away like
Yeah.
this.
The chemistry was
like,
just
they nailed it.
incredible.
And it's tracking for a 2019 release date.
Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
Yeah, take your time, get it right.
Make it good. Oh, Bill Skarsgård
Which I think,
was
yeah,
so
even
good.
though I haven't seen it, you know, and I probably will at some point, but I like the idea that they actually split it now, where like this one is its own thing.
It makes so
and
much more sense.
I could have a sequel without trying to spoil anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is the book does the time jumps and
Yeah.
it
You
does
mean
like,
the 1,150 page long tome?
yes, the one I've read 3 or 4 times. Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
One of
look
my-
at me! I'm Deon. I
one
read
of-
books that are more than 1,000 pages.
Well, I've read. Oh, I had to read it once at
Just-
least for each
Just
of
so
you.
listeners
Yeah.
know, that was me doing an impression of Deon, not Deon just actually saying that.
Oh wow, you even had me fooled. I thought, why did I say such an accurate thing?
Yeah. If I could not see Dion right in front of me right now, I would have bought it.
Yep. So the thing is, the book does a lot of time jumps. They're adults, they're kids, and what would make a film, make adapting it incredibly challenging would be jumping between those two. So to actually do it
Like the older
linearly,
adaptation.
yeah, is just, it's completely inspired, and it seems so self-evident now looking at it. But it wasn't. It took them years to get to the point, because there were a lot of treatments for this film, and they
Yeah.
originally wanted it to be one film.
Yeah.
And to treat it this way, like it's the kids, and then they're going to come back as adults and with flashbacks to being kids, that's just perfect. It's inspired. It's focused. It's so good.
I mean, they tried that with the miniseries, the one with Tim Curry playing
Yeah.
Pennywise, and it worked, but it also had its flaws because they jumped like too often. Like it was a 2-part miniseries, like each part being like 90 minutes, average out to like 3 hours, but they didn't have like, okay, here is an entire section of this is the kids, this is the Losers Club as children fighting the clown, and then this is the Losers Club as adults fighting the clown. They had like jumps all over the place.
and this is going to sound like the biggest cliche ever, but it has never been more true. That it really, really felt just like the characters just stepped out of the book onto the screen. I could not, before they said a word of dialogue, I knew who each one of them was.
Yeah, literally, I think it was about 7 or 8 minutes into the film where the Losers Club had been on screen for maybe 30 or 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Deon turned to me and was like, they nailed it. Like, they got the characters perfect.
It is, I cannot believe it. There's a lot of adjustments. For instance, obviously originally, because the book was written in the 80s, so their youth was set in the 50s,
yeah.
and now the youth is set in the 80s.
Which
but
makes
it
sense.
It translates perfectly. I had no issues. I actually only
they
caught
could not
myself
have-
midway through realizing, wait, in the book this was the 50s, just because the characters were so good.
But I mean, they couldn't have. Like, they couldn't have planned this better if they tried, like, releasing it and having the children part set in the 80s between the 2 seasons of Stranger Things.
That yeah,
I mean,
that
I'm
is-
pretty sure that's helping them track so well.
Yeah, and I mean the thing, it's this wonderful cyclical thing where Stranger Things draws so heavily on 80s Stephen King and obviously
Yeah.
Spielberg, and now 80s Stephen King is coming to the screen and it's feeding off that.
Yeah.
Because it would take something like Stranger Things with the whole Netflix revolution to really get people back into this kind of 80s Americana sort
Yeah.
of coming of age story. And I mean, yeah, it laid the groundwork for Stranger Things, and then Stranger Things like laid the groundwork for it again. It's
Yeah,
wonderful.
because I'm pretty sure, like, once Stranger Things came out, that was when they're like, right, okay, when they were still treating the script, because they hadn't started filming yet. They were like,
Yeah.
that's it. We just need to pinch a little of that, and that'll make this work. And then lo and behold,
Well, they didn't pinch anything. It's literally everything that looks pinched, it wasn't it originally.
Yeah, but I'm talking.
It can be found in the tome.
No, but what I mean to say is like. It's hard for me with having seen the movie like stylistically.
In terms of I see exactly what you mean. Like in terms of how they're presented visually.
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're completely right there. And it just works. Oh, it's so good.
But
Go
no,
watch it.
it's definitely worth your time, and don't just like wait for it to come out. Go watch it in the cinema.
Yeah, go have a good time. Take a bunch of friends. Just maybe get a little drunk ahead of time and just scream your heads off.
Yeah,
it is so good.
I was legitimately terrified on several occasions throughout the movie, and that has nothing to do with the fact that I'm not good with clowns.
Yeah,
and not good with dolls.
Not good with clowns. Not good with dolls. Oh, so Jason, tell us about the clown and doll room scene.
I'd really, really rather keep that to myself.
Oh, it was great. And Pennywise was extra. I know there's going to be a lot of people who are very attached to the original, sort of, quote, original, unquote, Pennywise.
Sorry.
The thing is, and in fairness, to sort of full disclosure, his one is more faithful to the book, because in the book, Pennywise he's sort of very friendly and happy and everything to draw in kids. And this one's a lot more focused on the idea of sort of fear being his nourishment. It's sort of it's what he feeds on. So he's not sort of outright threatening, but he's always creepy.
Yeah.
He's never it's sort of totally happy and welcoming and everything. But I think it's good. I think it works. It's a lot more focused. It's a lot less ambiguous, and it plays very well into the themes. They handle the themes extremely well. Sort of Pennywise is sort of a placeholder for like childhood trauma and so on.
Yeah.
And Bill Skarsgård played the shit out of that.
Oh, and his voice is so good, and the sound design is so good. Everything was good. Now he was outstanding.
The makeup was incredible.
Yeah, it was, and the lighting, where you can see his mouth and his head is in shadow, but his eyes are glowing, and it just looks.
Oh, which is a classic sort of.
No, but yeah. I mean, it is, but the way it was done, like I've never seen it done this well before. It was just perfect.
Yeah, it was great. And yeah,
that was it.
Yeah.
So our box office is not that different to the international one.
No, one thing that America has over the international and our local box offices, the top 10s anyway, is that both South Africa and the international box office only have one completely original movie in there, whereas the US has two. Everything else is a sequel or a reboot or an adaptation.
Wait.
We've got
an adaptation. Do they have any adaptations though?
Yeah.
Well, we have two.
Which two?
Girls
As
Trip
far
and
as I can
Rough
see,
Night.
Is Rough Night in our top 10?
No.
Sorry, you say top 10.
Top
Sorry,
10.
I'm looking at my top 20 list here. Top 10.
Top 10. All we have is...
Baywatch. Oh no!
Deon!
You
told
gave it
them
away!
the thing!
Well, I think, obviously Despicable Me 3, because it's the first Despicable Me 3.
Yeah.
And then 2 years from now, they're doing Despicable Me 3 2.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not like it's not the third film. It's like Despicable Me 3, like C-3PO.
Yeah.
That's that type
And
of thing.
then they're going to do the
sorry,
prequel,
I just-
Despicable Me 3 2 Origins.
Yeah.
Okay, that's on me. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
What is the totally original one here?
It's
Girls Trip.
Oh yeah, that's in our top 10. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, and in the international, it's Dunkirk, and then the US has both Dunkirk and Girls Trip.
Well, Dunkirk's R11. It's not too bad.
That's outside the top 10.
Not necessarily. Only mathematically.
Only mathematically.
And numerically. It's not split hairs here.
10, 11.
Well, look, but here's the thing though, like, Christopher Nolan movies always track better in the US than the rest of the world. Like, even comparatively speaking, like, the American box office loves them some Christopher Nolan. As do the Welsh, because he's a Welshman.
Ah,
yeah.
But, like, elsewhere in the world, his movies do fine these days.
Actually, this is the lowest attended summer in years.
Yeah.
really?
Yes. It's like it's down.
I know there was like one specific terrible weekend, like
Yes,
2 weeks
there
ago.
Yeah,
was-
no, but this
that
this
was-
particularly was the lowest
Summer
attended
since-
summer in I think like 20 something years.
Yeah, it's the lowest adjusted for inflation, obviously. The lowest summer since 1999.
That actually makes sense. There isn't actually a $1 billion film here.
No.
No.
No $1 billion films at the summer box office.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Right? Considering where we actually, there are no $1 billion movies in this year's box
I mean,
office.
Despicable Me comes close.
No, well, episode 8 is still coming out.
I'm talking about the summer, Deon.
You said this year's box
year.
office.
Sorry,
I'm
this
being
year's-
pedantic.
Sorry, okay, but yeah, for this year,
Unnecessarily pedantic.
you are unnecessarily pedantic because one, they are actually in outside of summer. There is $1 billion movie that I can remember off the top of my head, and that is the live action Beauty and the Beast. I think that made 1.2 billion.
It didn't deserve it.
I think
But
that
it
made
didn't.
1.2 billion. But if we're talking summer season,
Yeah.
like as defined May to the 1st of September, no
Nope.
$1 billion movies.
Sheesh. Cinderella was so much better. The live action one
Yeah.
was really good. The Beauty and the Beast live action was just.
It was not good.
It was just a knockoff
was-
of
it
the
was
animated
almost-
one.
Not
Well,
only
like,
that, it was
the
almost
thing is,
painful.
The thing is, it
watch.
doesn't have. It can
had
be a
none of the
knockoff.
character,
Like it
none
can
of the
be as
charm.
much of a knockoff as it wants. I don't give a damn. It just
Zero characters, zero charm.
There- yeah.
It didn't
There
have
was
anything that
the-
made the first one so likable.
yeah. It had a couple of nice moments, one or two really good quotes, and it had what's his name?
Gandalf.
The dude from The Hobbit. Who fires the black bolt?
Oh, yes.
What's his name?
Actor man.
Yeah, that guy. But anyway, Gaston. Like he was really
Oh,
really
Luke
good.
Evans.
Luke Evans.
He was
there we
really
go.
good as Gaston. End of story. Beast's design was a train wreck. It was
Yeah.
just a disaster. I don't know.
Yeah, he's supposed to be
Like
a
the-
beast, and he actually looked like quite handsome
and the
as
and
a
the and
beast.
the like the teacup, you know, and her son, like just it looked like first draft designs that should
Yeah.
have just been torn up and thrown away immediately. I don't know. Anyway,
All right, we're gonna call it quits and head for some Krabbies. But before we do so, oh yeah, anything you guys want to plug?
your butt. All right. My Twitter is at Deon Van Heerden 1 because there's some other asshole out there with a stupid name. Marcus.
Yeah, I've got more stuff to plug. So, you can follow me on Twitter at Viking of Science. You can also follow my YouTube channel, Escape from Mount Backlog, where weekly I play a game out of my games backlog and see if it's any good. I also do some multiplayer Let's Plays with people that aren't the two on this podcast. Maybe I'll get them in one day. We'll see how it happens.
Yawn.
And you can also follow that one on Twitter
shared
and Facebook
universe.
and everything.
It's a shared universe.
Oh, it's a shared universe.
We've got a shared universe
the
going.
Marcus first.
Escape from Mount Backlog on YouTube. Check it out. You'll love it. You'll laugh. You'll cry. You might even masturbate.
Wait
No,
a
you
second.
could-
Does that mean I'm not the protagonist?
You're not the
The
protagonist.
universe is centered around him.
But that makes you the Nick Fury.
That's alright. That's cool.
But when
You said, that's why you're the protagonist, man.
No, wait. No, what am I?
Shut up, Black Widow.
No!
Age of Ultron, Black Widow.
Oh,
I can't get
not even Winter Soldier Black Widow.
Okay. You can follow me on Twitter at jmusicanth. I've never done a single tweet in my life, and I'm not.
When you
prepared to
actually
start
got
now.
a Twitter now.
I got a
oh,
Twitter
I should
now.
follow you right away.
And obviously, you can follow us on Twitter at CineBeards.
At CineBeards.
Yeah, you can follow us on Twitter at CineBeards.
There we go.
There we go.
Now
I sing
you're,
that.
now you're tweet
Now I'm
talking.
tweeting with style.
Yeah.
And obviously, where you can find us on YouTube if you're not listening to us there, or if you are listening to us on YouTube, you can find us on Podiant.
There are
links
legitimately
below.
there are legitimately 0 followers and 0 tweets for J Musican.
Beast first follower. Oh, that's so sad. He doesn't even have an avatar.
No, not even an avatar.
No,
I hope,
James Cameron
I hope
hates
this
you.
is you.
Yeah, that is me.
That's-
Oh, I got a follower! Yeah, you hear that, world? I've got follower.
Nice. All right, cool.
Krabby
That
time.
is, yeah, let's go have some crabbies, guys.
Yeah.